And we're back. So our 20 minutes took a little longer than 20 minutes, indeed. Yeah. But we are here and we are refreshed and we're ready to go for the next session. So while our in-person attendees continue to enter into the main hall, we would like to do a giveaway. All right? So while you got lots of goodies in your bag already, in your tote bag already, sponsored giveaways, please note your mother's coupon that is also in your tote bag. While you have all of those already, we do have other giveaways for you throughout the day. We gave away one to an online attendee earlier this morning. So let's now do a giveaway for someone in the house. So we're entrepreneurs, right? Yes, we're entrepreneurs, and sometimes we get a little weary, a little tired, and sometimes we forget to do a little self-care. Yes? Yes. So Shay's Day Spa and Beauty Clinic has sponsored one guest gift certificate for their services. So while we are waiting, let's do that giveaway. And we will give that gift cert. We will give that gift cert to someone in the house who is brave enough and bold enough. And I know that we all are, because we're entrepreneurs in the house. Yes. Who would like to come and share about their business in 1 minute? Yep, 1 minute share. Woo! Come on!
So why everybody never run up?
Exactly. Please go ahead.
All right, so I'm Desmond. I'm from Cleared. We're a background checks and verification company in Jamaica. If you're hiring someone, you're renting a property to someone, we screen them, we do criminal record checks, local, FBI kind of thing, Interpol, Europol, we check them out from all corners of the earth, make sure that they're clean before they can enter your premises, work at your company, or any sort of business that you're doing with them. We also verify companies. If you're engaging in trade, somebody presented about that earlier today. We'll go a little bit further. If you're engaging in trade with a company overseas, we actually do address verification to make sure that when you go to meet them, you don't meet somebody at a bus stop. All right, so.
Thank you so much. All right, so congratulations, Desmond. You will get the gift cert, and we'll do the photo up a little later, right? Because I think it's downstairs. But you will indeed get that. Thank you. And that would have helped us in the early stages of our first business when, we got... Yeah. Scammed is the word. Out of 3 brand new laptops as a small business that really shook us, right? That was, 2012? And a value of over $200,000. It really gave us a hit for the business. So thank you for what you do, and thank you for sharing that. So you will indeed win that gift cert from Shay's Day Spa and Beauty Clinic. Just to note that Shay's also caters to cancer patients, so they are oncologist friendly. And so their polishes and their massages and all of their services do cater to those who are dealing with cancer diagnosis. All right. Once again, we are here and ready to hear from our amazing speakers. And now, after that beautiful break, we're going to hear from all of 4 speakers. They're speaking now on the topic, or they're sharing on the topic of content creation for entrepreneurs. It's a major thing in our society today. It's a major thing in business today. If you're not present on a content platform, are you even a business, right? But how does it actually work? How is it meaningful? How can you get the most out of that content creation and not spend your time dancing in front of the phone and not actually getting sales, right? How do you convert the content to sales, and how do you make it meaningful for your business? And to moderate that panel, we have Mrs. Henika Watkis Porto, the podcast queen herself. Come on up, Henika, please have your seat. So our panelists will have the opportunity to do their own intros. We're getting them engaged in that way with you. Next, we have Aaliyah Campbell from Mother's Food Group. So those who would have participated online and did their pitch in the comment section on IG, Aaliyah here would have been the one responsible for all of that, right? So thank you to mothers for on behalf of the participants who are here because of that pitch and win competition on IG. Next, we have Mr. Carlisle Grant, CEO of Digital Danes. And finally, but certainly not the least, is Miss Tony-Ann McKenzie of Travel with Tony-Ann. Over to you, Henika.
Yes, can you hear me now? All right, how is everybody? Awesome, I'm good too. I'm so happy to be here at this Grow Your Wealth conference for a third mic check. Cool, I'm on. Right, for a third time. And we're going to be diving in today into an interesting topic. We hear the phrase, being bounced around and so on. And we want to get a sense of what it actually means. And it was about almost 3 decades ago that Bill Gates in an essay, that Bill Gates in an essay, he posited that the internet would become a marketplace for information and entertainment. And that those who could provide quality content would be the most successful. That content essentially is king. And so almost 30 years later, here we are. So where's the lie? No lie told, right? So we have on this panel 3 amazing individuals who have been creating content and doing amazing things. I know that we throw this term around, and I'm going to ask, as simplistic as it sounds, I need a definition of that to begin with. So what is content creation, first of all? Is it just anybody posting something on social media, or it has to fall within a certain parameter? How would you define content creation? And go ahead. Yes, Tony, and I see you looking at me, look in my eyes. Go ahead. It's on.
Testing. So for me, content creation is creating content in a meaningful way that is impactful to your audience. That's basically that in a nutshell for me. So I have to create content that is meaningful and impactful. What takeaway will my audience get from the content that I produce?
So it's not just frivolously posting something on social media or randomly
maybe
posting.
for somebody else, but not for me. It has to be impactful.
Yeah, let me hear Carlisle.
It can be frivolous. Content is content. It is a representation of something that you are putting out to the world. And it can be shown in various formats. So yeah, it is a representation of what you want to put out there, and it can be anything, but you decide what you want to put out. So whether you want to, for me, I go by 3 E's. So if my content doesn't empower, if it doesn't entertain, if it doesn't educate, I don't put it out there.
Okay, all right.
For me, I look at content a bit more holistically. So as a marketer, content isn't just, the videos that you see on Instagram and TikTok, which I think is a lot of what people immediately think sometimes when they think content creator. But you have those people that they have the goals of educating, so they might do carousels, they do the blogs on LinkedIn. Those are all content creators. It's just, there are a lot of different types of content. So For me, a content creator is really anybody that is putting something into the space, written, visual, anything like that, that is hoping to get something out of it.
All right, so let's bring it home to entrepreneurship. Let's make it a little more focused. Tell me how it is that content, in your world of content creation, how has that influenced your business in terms of driving sales and driving revenue? I want to start with you, Carlisle. I want you to tell us what you do and how does content factor in your business?
All right, so I'm a marketer. That's my professional background, but I'm also a content creator. I own a creative agency where we help brands thrive in this age of digital transformation. And we help them by creating content, we help them through digital marketing and various other services within the digital space. How it influences my entrepreneurship journey. I think people tend to do business with people that they perceive that they like or perceive that they know. So I have strategically used my personal brand to gain business over the years. I use my platforms as an extension of my resume because most times persons are gonna see how you are online before they even see anything else that you do. So if you have a good perception, then you're highly likely to gain business, and that has worked for me over the years.
All right, so before anybody else answer, you pretty much alluded to the KLT factor, the know, like, and trust factor. How do you ensure that you achieve that objective? Because a lot of people, they can put things online which not necessarily is a representation of the truth. Truth is twisted a little bit. How do you ensure that there is that KLT factor?
I think it boils down to authenticity. As you alluded to, I think people can spot when you're not being, your truth or authentic. So it's really trying to be as true to yourself as possible in your unique way, and conveying your content in a way that is representative of you, a way that it's not overdone. So some people are good at spoken or good at being in front of the camera, going on a video. Some people are good writers. Some people I see people even doing things like they're turning informative things into music, into song, just whichever way that is comfortable for you and it's unique. Even in your speech, if you're doing a video and maybe you're not the person who can articulate big words, just speak your normal self, speak your patois. Who it's supposed to reach, it will reach.
All right, so I'm going to put a different question because believe me, I'm not allowing everyone I use to answer each question. I am not doing that. So content creation can be an end, and it can also be a means to an end. So in the instances, and I'm throwing this specifically to Tonya, and in the instances where the content is the business, right? Because I think that's your model. The content is the business. Let's talk about that. How do you even get into that space to begin with? No, it's not a hard question. Don't roll your eyes like that.
All right, so as a travel content creator, my personality or my brand is the business. So most of my business strategy is brand deals or, creating content for brands. And I think, I don't know if I'm really answering your question, but for me, creating content is basically the business strategy that I go with. Personal branding, do they trust what I do, all of that. So that's basically it.
Okay, so over to you, Alio. Tell us your role. We heard earlier, but we want a little more from you, your role at Mothers, and what role does that play really in driving sales?
Okay, so I was formerly creative content officer for one of the creative content officers for Mothers Food Group, and I managed 3 of the brands that we have. Now I am the brand marketing officer, one of the brand marketing officers, and I manage 2 brands. I'm still sort of playing between the 2 a little bit because it's a very, very new promotion.
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So for me and for our strategy, I think content creation has been a massive part of the business as of recently. We've really seen the benefit of it, and we've been investing in that, not just in what would be my role of going out and creating content in restaurants with the team, focusing on those different areas like, the employee engagement and the staff videos, and then you have the fun stuff that people like to see, and all of the extraness. And then you actually have the communication about the products. So there's that end of it, but then we've also been investing in other things like content creators and partnering with creators and influencers to push products more to their audiences. So we've taken a kind of like a full approach to that content, like a full, I want to say 360, but I don't want to mess up any of the marketers in the room. It's not that kind of 360, but in terms of content, we really try to be holistic about it. And it's really, we've seen the benefits. I don't want to talk dollars and cents, but we've seen the conversion.
The ROIs, okay.
People are seeing it, and even if it's not a matter of, some of it is product education. People are hearing about products, and then they're hearing other people talk about it, people engaging on the socials, and then that convinces them. Then you have the other people where it's just keeping the brand top of mind. They see something, you scroll, you see, and you're like, all right, cool, Mothers. You walk past a Mothers or one of the other restaurants, and you're like, all right, cool, I saw a video about that. I've been shooting content in the restaurants, and for example, one of our brands, Pimentos, I've been inside Pimentos with the staff shooting content, and somebody would have come in and been like, oh, I see this thing, I see one of our big things, our curry goat burger. I've seen the curry goat burger on TikTok, so I decided to come and try it. So some people, it's just seeing, and other people, it's a mix of things that help to convert, but it's been converting.
Okay, so different strokes for different folks. So we are in such a fast-paced microwave environment, right? A lot of business owners, entrepreneurs would say, but really, it's all about, for me, making the product or, getting that customer, that client on board. Me not enough time for this content creation thing, right? What do you say about that?
Outsource.
But I'm on a shoestring budget. I can't afford to do that.
I mean, to that I say, so it's either or. You're going to carve out a little bit of time here and there. Content creation doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out, all-day thing. It can be. I'm sure you can agree. It can be a full-day, full-week thing. But it doesn't have to be. You can decide. I think with content strategy, you take into consideration the amount of time and the person and the business. For example, you can choose to bulk shoot content, which is one of the things that we do. We bulk shoot. You bulk shoot, you make a decision about what you want to put out there. You take a day, you dedicate a day, half of a Sunday, you shoot that content, you change the outfit if you have to make sure it looks fresh and new. And then you take your time and you edit and you put it out. Or you can go the route of deciding and understanding that content creation is something that is worth investing in, and it is something that is worth investing in. And you outsource it. You outsource part of it. So let's say you have a tight budget. So you just say, okay, all I can afford is one shoot. I need to do one shoot for me. I want it to be good. I'm going to bring in these people. I'm going to ask my friend. I'm going to ask my aunt to be, whoever in it. I'm going to ask my customers, hey, can you do this video for me? Can you ask somebody if one of your customers is, for example, a corporate entity? Can you ask somebody on your marketing team to do a little video for it? You have to just kind of pull where you can because it's important. And unfortunately, I don't think we're at a point in time anymore where you can kind of evade. Be like, I don't think we're in that time frame anymore.
There's no getting away from it.
Yeah,
Carlisle,
one way or the other is going to happen.
Respond to that.
I echo the same sentiments. You can batch content. You can, I think for a lot of entrepreneurs, there's a wave of anxiety that comes with, I have to go sit down and plan this out, and it's so difficult. I don't have this and I don't have that. We all have smartphones. You can start with what you have. Start with just a phone, set it up on a book, set it up on some. If you have some, I'm sure as an entrepreneur, there's a lot of knowledge that you have that you can share to persons that can be impactful and that can potentially drive leads and drive business for you that you can share to your network and build from there. And you only get better by doing. So the time you you waste mulling over having to do it. Just start where you are, and the more you do it, the better you get.
All right. So my next question is, thanks for that. My next question is, over the last, say, 10 years, and I'm starting with Tony on, what are some of the trends that have evolved? I mean, there are some that are no longer fun to do or even relevant, right? But what are some of the trends that you've seen that we should be taking note of where content creation is concerned?
All right now, AI is, I know people don't
Right.
really like
It took us a while to get there, didn't it?
it did, but I know people don't really like it, but I use ChatGPT. It's my best friend because
Or Gemini, or Perplexity.ai, or just saying.
you know what? It makes my workflow much easier because most of my videos, I am a storyteller. So I have to write. So I'll just send in my prompt, and I don't just copy and paste. I edit and I, rework and everything. So AI for me is where it is, and I feel like if we don't work with the trends, we get left behind. So you kind of have to know that, okay, this is not a replacement. It's just a tool to help me to do my content. And also, Canva is big. I'm a graphic designer. I can't tell the last time I used Photoshop, I'm just saying. It's just easier to work with. I have it on my phone. I can just do up something and that's it. So it is what it is, So as a content entrepreneur, we need to be using systems that will assist us and help us to do the work fast because things are just going like that. And again, if you don't use it, you get left behind.
Yeah, indeed. Shout out to AI because, as a podcast producer, what could easily take me like 8 hours to do is now like...
Yeah, you have this script
listen,
you have
listen,
CapCut.
like 2 hours or
Yeah.
less. So
yeah, that's it.
What I'd add as well is so AI is like the new whole .com bubble. It's a new thing. Back in that time when the internet was just coming out, the persons who really benefited were the ones who dove right into it, learned about it, and was able to benefit from it. I saw something the other day from Mark Cuban where he spoke about how he became wealthy was similar. The internet just came out. A lot of these older persons, no offense to anybody, a lot of these older persons weren't...
chronologically mature.
Right, chronologically mature. They weren't interested in learning this new thing, and they got left behind. And then the persons who decided to learn it were the ones who benefited in the long run, and he benefited from that, and that's how he became rich. So he spoke to AI being the next thing that instead of running from it, embrace it, learn it as much as you can, because there's going to come a time soon where they're going to be looking for AI expertise. They're going to be looking to hire. There are going to be a lot of AI roles, or a lot more AI roles, and that is where you can come in and benefit and become wealthy and become great.
All right. So, oh my gosh, you have. Okay, go ahead. I have so many questions. I'm like, bubbling with questions.
Echoing that, but also adding on another trend, which is influencer marketing and content, the use of content creators and the increase of content creators in the space. For businesses, I think it's something that people need to stay top of mind with, right? Especially when you're trying to scale. It's not enough for people to trust you. They need to hear from other people as well that they trust about you. So it's something that you're going to want to leverage if you want broad stroke understanding and broad stroke trust about your business. You don't want to just be, just you their champion, because if you are here and you're selling your business to me and you're championing your business to me, okay, that's good and well. You're not going to say anything bad because it's your business. So if somebody else that I already trust because I'm following them for whatever other reason is also saying, oh, this person did it, I might be able to look into it. For example, outside of my role, I'm also an entrepreneur. And I was looking, taxes, tax season just passed and all of that. And a content creator that I like for other reasons. She's a skincare business creator. And she posted about a tax service that helps her get her business back on track. And I'm doing business with them because she would have sold that business to me just informally. So
All right.
Can
So
I-
yeah, go ahead.
Can I add to that too? If you're an entrepreneur too and you have a business and you can't afford an influencer, maybe I'm boxing food or something, whatever. But they also use employees to create their content, which is very, I mean, some of these banks, they're using their own employees and they're getting a lot of
Employee
that's the
generated
word I'm looking
content
for.
is massive.
It is.
It's
So if
massive.
you can't afford that, not saying that you shouldn't hire your,
Tony and
but I'm just
whoever.
saying,
Yeah.
that's the way
I
to
agree
go to.
heavily.
Another trend that just came to mind also is, especially for entrepreneurs who are selling products, is live selling. So you're selling while you're on a TikTok live, or Instagram live. There are capabilities now where you can link TikTok shop and people can literally buy from you. So you're live demoing your products. Or maybe you have a makeup business, you're doing the makeup and then you're telling persons and directing them to buy your
All
products.
those links in the bios, all of the
Yeah, the
little-
Amazon lives, they
All
do
of
very
this.
well.
Yeah.
All right, so let's stay on air a little bit. So we were talking in Jamaica and wider in the region as though AI just happened yesterday, just was a thing yesterday. So what we notice is that in the region, and I mean, Jamaica is ahead in terms of not being laggards, right? We're closing in a little more on the digital divide. But what would you say to persons right now who are skeptical about including AI, even in their content creation role as they continue to promote their businesses?
No, you can go ahead.
All right. What I'd say is that AI is not here to replace you. It's here to support you. AI is a tool, just like with everything else. Also, the one thing that AI will never have is the human element. So they can try and develop it, and it can do all of these great things, but it will never replace the human element. It may take away a few jobs, let's be real. However, that's where opportunity lies for you as well. So if you see that a specific job area that might be replaced by AI, then that's where you need to double down and find other ways to benefit from it. But it is a tool, it's not going to replace it, so it is something to be embraced. And you really, really don't want to get left behind because it's not going anywhere.
Thanks. Yes, I agree. It's a tool that you use to assist you. Another thing that I recommend is that when you're using AI, just to add your element to it. Don't just copy and paste. Everybody going to know that the stars that you put on LinkedIn is from AI. Everybody going to know. So the emojis, that's the word I'm looking for. So you have to just add your touch to it, and also do not put personal information. I do not believe in putting personal information in ChatGPT. Nobody put the company data in it. That's me personally, because we all know how ChatGPT works. So, but again, it's a tool that we use to assist.
The other thing is also that when it comes to AI, the information is only as good as the prompt that you feed it. So you still need to always be that, right? You always need to be that fact. You need to add as much context as humanly possible, and all of that is coming out of your brain. As a content creator and somebody that is in marketing, I think one of the things, if anybody was going to say somebody would be vulnerable, it would be a marketing position or a content creation position. Because you can do so many things in there. You can make your content calendars, and you can, all of these ideas, the scripts and all of those things, commercial ideas. However, if without your element in there, it's just not going to connect. For example, imagine me telling ChatGPT, hey, write this script up to sell this particular product to a Jamaican audience. You're going to say, buy this Ironman, that is nobody, that is not going to convert a soul. So you always need to put a good prompt in if you want something, and as Tony said, edit it. Edit it and make sure, edit it and test it and make sure that it's actually feasible.
Accurate.
Yes.
ChatGPT is not
Accurate.
accurate all the time.
Yes, that is so true. And thank you for saying that a second time, because my question was going to be, how do you make sure that you're not just copying and pasting? Because one of my pet peeves, and you can tell when something is written by AI. That's fine. Nothing is wrong with that. But when you copy and paste and there is no personal element in there, it irks me bad. So thank you for reiterating that. Let's move on. Okay. They have a lot to say.
Remember to remove the parentheses when you
Yes.
copy and you paste it.
OMG.
It is proper English, though. It is
Yeah.
proper English, but it's one of those things people used to tell that it's AI, although it is still proper
Yeah.
English.
All right, so there's a word that entrepreneurs face, and it's called burnout. Burnout is a real thing, right? As content creators, I think that there is so much more pressure on you to be putting stuff out, but at the same time, trying to run a profitable business. How do you navigate this work-life content creation, business harmony? How do you do that?
Well, I've
Well,
been
before you
there.
answer that, your job alone, like that in itself, like all day, every day. So I don't even think you're qualified to answer the question. But anyway, go ahead.
I do have a life outside of content creation. But I've been there because I had a full-time 9-to-5 job. I worked in the financial sector for years, 12 years. And the burnout came a lot because you have to make sure you have your time management in check. Time management is very important, and you have to be very deliberate about setting boundaries and time off to say, okay, today, just relax. Don't even look on your phone. You have to be intentional about saying, okay, so I'm going to Fontana and I'm not going to create any content. I'm just going to Fontana to shop. So it's that intentional attitude and behavior that you have to have, because burnout is real. You can do your batch content, you just have to have your time management in place. Just say Mondays is batch management, Tuesdays, I'm just following up on emails, Wednesdays, I'm pitching, Thursdays, I'm gonna do personal stuff, because it can get a lot. So you have to make sure that you create systems in place to make your work easier. You may have to outsource. You know, I am at the stage now where I'm gonna have to outsource because I am the video, the editor, the writer, the script, everything. It's hard, but I have to outsource, so it's about managing that.
What I would say is to not be driven by the algorithm, because the algorithm will force you and make you feel like you're being left behind and you need to put out content every other day or every day. I think for me, I'm driven more by when I'm inspired. So I will only put out something when I'm inspired to put it out. I'm not pressured by the platform, or because it's not like it's my job every day to put out a video, but I'm not pressured by it. And I find that when I'm inspired to put out something, that's when it does well, than if I am trying to follow this set thing. I need to put out 2 pieces of content per week. And then also, I've been just reminiscing a lot on a Bible verse, Matthew 6:34, when it talks about basically saying that tomorrow is another day. You know, let tomorrow worry about itself. So that kind of keeps
Take no thought.
Yeah, that kind of keeps me grounded in terms of burning myself out and remembering that I don't have to get everything. I don't have to shoot everything today. I don't have to do every single thing and spend all night doing it. Tomorrow will worry about itself. And I've been doing that recently. I've been seeing where it has been making me a lot less anxious. So, yeah.
So my perspective is a little bit and a lot bit different, because obviously in that content creator role, even now, my KPIs and my assessments are driven by how well content does. If I'm following the schedule, how much, and if anybody in here follows for example, one of our brands that puts out the most mothers, I hope at least half of you in here, if everybody isn't following, we put out quite a bit of content every week. Thank you. Put out content. Thank you. Every week. I hope my boss is listening.
The rebrand is epic.
Thank you. So put out quite a bit of content, and if anybody has ever had a conversation with me, any of my team members can tell you, my brain, we'll be having one conversation, my brain gone 5, 6 different places because I'm thinking about all of the little things. And one of the ways that I help manage that burnout is I don't rely solely on my own creativity. I like to talk to members of my team. I like to talk to the staff in the restaurants. When I'm in the restaurants, I'll talk to the customers, ask them what's going on or, what they think about this. I'll ask everybody for their feedback so I don't have to rely solely on my brain operating to constantly create, because the other thing that you run into with that is a lot of bias. You end up creating content the way you think it should be created versus how people actually want to receive it or what people actually want to see. So that's helped me tremendously. You get a lot more ideas because there are a lot of, especially when you're selling to the masses or if you have a general product or it doesn't matter actually, whoever your audience is, if you're talking to them, you'll find so much inspiration than if you just kind of drag in from your own brain. So that's one of the ways. And time management, as I said, we batch content, so we'll do 1 to 2 shoots a month. And we'll kind of just make a list and decide, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is everything that we need for that. We shoot that, we'll get that out and it's edited throughout the month. We engage creators and different people to make sure that there's enough bulk going out so people are seeing us on all avenues. And that's kind of how we go about it. And again, doing it for multiple brands. So sometimes it's events. Sometimes it's, just the funny, light-hearted stuff. That's a little 5-second, 10-second videos that are just... Sometimes it might come off as foolishness. There's strategy behind everything, promise. But those are the easy things that you can just get it out and, people can interact in the brand in a fun way without you having to be selling every time.
All right, so I have about 2 minutes left before it's time for Q&A. And so you all don't have to take this one, but just kind of share a little bit of the various options there are for content and how do you know which one to choose for your business? Who's going to take that?
I think I can take that.
Go right ahead.
So options as it relates to content, there are so many. You can have you have infographics, the regular graphics, that. You have a designer that does a pretty artwork. You have that. You have on some platforms the carousels. They can be photo carousels or graphic carousels. Everything really is storytelling. So one way or the other, it's about storytelling, and sometimes graphics are more so just for information. You want to say, okay, we have this product, we sell this thing, it's at this price, we have this event coming up. That's what that is for. Then you have the carousels that are for information. You don't necessarily want to do a video. You want something nice. Let's say you do something artsy, something pretty that people can scroll through that you can't really focus on in a video. And then you have the informational and entertainment stuff, which are best done through video. So that really is totally dependent on what your business is and what it is that you're actually trying to achieve. If you think you get more customers or you can convert more people when you sit down and talk to them, when you actually pitch into an actual customer, then you focus on that type of content. If you think that usually your clients have to get decks to kind of understand your business and your model, then you put out a bit more of that, but a blend is always the best bet. Blend is always the best.
All right, so I'm really deeply hurt. Why did you not mention a podcast?
Because that also counts as video in a sense. Video or audio? Video, audio, visual.
Okay.
Audio, visual.
All right, thank you.
Yes, that's also a great way.
Oh boy. All right. So the final question I have, and I want all of you to respond, so you're going to do this briefly because I'm literally out of time. And this is one takeaway that entrepreneurs should remember about leveraging content for business growth.
All right, what I'd say is that people like to do business with who they like, so you have to align your personal brand with your business. Think of yourself as a social CEO. You have to align yourself. If you look at, and even now, if you look at local business owners, you'll see that Adam Stewart, you'll see Stephen Price, you'll see a lot of them now they are aligning their personal brands, whether they manage it or not, to the business to drive traffic, to drive interest, to drive, good positive brand sentiments to grow the business.
Well, he said it all. Personal branding is the king, and your personal brand...
Or queen.
Or queen, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Your personal brand follows you wherever you go. It does not leave you, I think, even when you're at the supermarket, wherever, people look up to you. So you have to make sure that, you're in accordance with your values, your goals. Personal brand is it. And you have to make sure that it's your resume. So you have to make sure it's in accordance to what, your audience expects.
I know you said one, what I want to say too. One, authenticity. People can tell when you're not being genuine. It's very obvious from the way that you talk, your body language. It's obvious. Trust me. People can tell when you're not being yourself. And I do business with people that I like. I follow personal brands, and if I don't like the way you carry yourself, I'm not going to like the way you carry business. So authenticity is a big part of that. Another big part of that is remembering that when you're doing your content creation, your marketing, you're talking to your audience. You know, that political strategy where you don't necessarily speak from your position of understanding your knowledge, that you speak to your audience at the level that they're at. And that's something that I want more entrepreneurs, creators to focus on doing.
Okay, so
Just quickly,
there's
just
so
wanted
much more to
tack
say.
on-
Yeah,
just
go
quickly
ahead.
just tack on that the content that you put out is not for yourself, it's for the audience. A lot of the times we overthink it because in our head, it's not the optimal, but remember, you're creating it for people. So your job is to plant the seed, and everything else will happen after that. Yeah.
All right, so align your personal brand with your business, become your social CEO. Personal branding is king, it follows you wherever you go, and just remain authentic. And of course, that last point that was snuck in, the content is for your audience and not for self. Thank you so much, Alio Campbell, Brand Marketing Officer at Mother's Food Group. Carlisle Grant, Creative Director of Digital Danes, Tony McKenzie, Travel Content Creator and Cultural Storyteller. It's a pleasure. Oh, questions, right, there are questions.
It's a big hand, 2 hands over there technically.
Oh, we have lots of hands. All right. Okay, I can't see them. All right. I see a yellow jacket up there. And there's one here. Okay.
Hi, everyone. We just spoke about personal branding, but is there a place for faceless content when you're an entrepreneur? What if I don't want to put my face out there?
I would absolutely need to know the type of business, because that for me is important. There is a place for it, but it totally depends on what your business model is and what your business is even about.
Yeah, what is your business about? You do travel, and you don't want to show your face? We have to trust you to give you your money if you're a travel agent. The truth is, a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with this because they're shy. I am shy, I am shy. As much as you see me talking, and I'm shy. But guess what? You know what somebody said to me why I'm so successful right now? Tony, we need to see your face. You're too pretty for a post picture. So that's how I ended up speaking and articulating, and it takes practice. It's not hard. It's relatability, and it's just people see you. It's either they like you or they don't like you, So you don't have to be afraid of it. Just start.
I also want to add to that really quickly that you more than likely have to have meetings with people and all of that. People want to see you. When you go in that meeting, you usually in the first meeting you want somebody to turn on them camera because you want to know who you're talking to. So that's a part of it. And you have to keep in mind also, there's space for everybody. You don't have to. I'm not sure if it's something where some people just shy. They're naturally a bit more shy. I am naturally a bit more reserved, but there is space to be online. There is really judgment can come, but is that judgment paying you? I mean,
So I have so much to say about this topic, and I will have part 2. We're gonna cover this part 2 of this next year. I promise you. But what I wanted to ask is, so I've been seeing this, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. So I'll ask. I'm seeing more and more companies opt in to, for example, work with an influencer versus being the ones to create content for themselves. And we're talking about entrepreneurs here, not like big brands or companies. But I wanted to understand the trade-off between using an influencer or you being the one to create content as the entrepreneur?
That's a good question. I feel like we had this discussion recently in our
We
group.
might have.
Yeah. So I think it depends on the step that you take. So if you're an entrepreneur just starting out, or you're launching a product, you're launching your business, to jump the gun and go hire influencer right out the gate when nobody knows your business, knows you, knows the face behind the brand, that wouldn't be very wise, because if you hire an influencer and that contract ends or that engagement ends, what happens for your business after that? You will now be in this loop where you're constantly having to get an influencer, constantly having to tap into audiences, because there's no brand affinity. Nobody knows your business. Nobody knows you. So you're constantly in this loop, constantly spending, when it could have been strategic, where you say, okay, I'm going to spend some time, even if I'm afraid of the camera, even if I'm afraid of this, I'm going to spend some time to make some content, get people used to me, get people used to my business, and then when I build up a little traction, no matter how small it is, and there's some resume out there, I can now partner with influencers and so on. Yeah.
Also, from that end, I think there always needs to be that baseline of something going on with the business. There needs to be some established. You need to start building that trust on your own. It needs to be there. And I think the next best thing, I'm not always in agreement with working with the quote-unquote top 10, top 15 influencers, because I don't believe it comes off as authentic. If you are to monitor, for example, the Mothers, Pimentos, those brands, M Catering, you'll see that we use a lot of micro-influencers, a lot of what I like to call just creators. We use people that, they do the fun skits and they do the videos and they do those types of things, because it's easier for our audience to digest when it comes to a certain group of people, or when it's done in a particular way. It's an ad. It's not authentic. People can tell, as I said. So it's about choosing something that makes sense and not just choosing based off of vanity metrics, which is what a lot of people like to do. They like to just look at the big follower and the big views and not looking at how it's actually going to convert for you specifically, or if the influencer even makes sense for your business. You'll have a beauty influencer and somebody, you're sending them on, you do food, for example, a food influencer. If you're a food influencer, you're testing 10 million different food places. Why am I, as a business, trying to get who I want authentic people, going to send it to somebody who is also working for every single one of my competitors? You know what I mean? So you have to have a strategy behind what you're doing. So I think both are important, but you have to have the balance.
Okay. So online question, as a service-based business, is there a good balance you could recommend for giving away knowledge for free as content versus keeping knowledge for after they pay?
All right, so there isn't really about a balance. So whenever it comes on to content in that context, where you have something they want them to buy versus the free know-how, you're giving them just enough for them to want to need you to learn more. So you're giving them value, but if they want, because here's the thing, you can give somebody the blueprint, but they don't know how to execute it, only you do. So you can give them the information, but you set it up in a way where in order to learn more, you have to execute it for them. Mm-hmm. In order for Jermaine does it well with the community and the courses and stuff. He gives you all the value. However, if you really want to know the nitty-gritty, how you do it step by step, the one-on-ones, everything, you have to pay for that. But you still leave feeling as if you've gotten a lot of information, a lot of value. You're packed with it. So you also trust him to execute it for you.
Yeah, and I want to chime in on that because I think people are inherently lazy. True.
Yeah.
Speaking for a friend. So even if you tell me exactly how to do it, it's better usually if I have somebody holding my hand, or when I have somebody holding my hand. So I know from experience and just based on other content creators and thought leaders that I've, followed, it doesn't matter if they give away everything for free.
Yeah.
They can still sell that and people buy.
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
Oh, what?
Oh, you wanted to add to that, Alia?
Alia wanted to say something quickly.
Go ahead.
Oh, right. I honestly just wanted to echo the same sentiment. And you have to think about the type of clients that you want, right? Do you want the type of client where they think that just because they have this kind of outline of information that they can then do your job? Is that really a client that you think is going to be, someone that you can keep on board and walk all the way through the process? So that's another thing that you have to think about. And another way to do that is also just to look at the people who are doing that. Look at the people that you might follow. You see them giving away information, and you have to do that little mini chat thing. Comment free or comment service to get linked to this and that. See what other people in the industry are doing, and then just follow suit.
Yeah. Do we have time for the second question?
We can take one more from the audience and this second online question.
Okay, so let me just, oops, drop mic.
Hi, okay.
Go audience. And then.
Hi. So my question was how do you approach content creators, or even like in your industry, like podcasts, okay, my industry is the afterlife industry, and I'm trying to get more Jamaicans to just talk about the whole industry and pre-plan and think about it and just to start the conversation. And I've had a lot of challenges just trying to get people to talk to me, whether it's a podcast or whether it's just any sort of platform. It's been very challenging. And I don't know how to approach content creators because they're like, we don't want to talk about that, or we don't want to even, so I just need some advice.
So that is tricky. I would definitely start from the personal branding space. I would really start about telling your story, why you got into the industry. Talk to your peers, I wouldn't even say your customers, probably not, that's not a good idea. Talk to your peers. If you're sharing stories about you lose somebody and what that process was like, if your services help them feel more comforted, and focus on that aspect of it versus kind of the, what do you call it, like that colder side of it and the numbers and that type of thing. There's also the experiential part of it, in a sense. So you have to focus on the parts that aren't too
morbid,
tough and morbid and hard for people to digest. You focus on the personal branding side of it.
Yeah, I think you have to start with you and then build out. You have to make it sexy. So it seems
bring sexy back.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's probably not the most talked about type of content. So you now have to show them why it is an interesting thing. You have to bring your passion out. Start with you, get persons to be like, I never know that this thing is, this happens in this space, or this is the process of such and such. Mm-hmm. And TikTok is a good platform to do that on, and then you branch out from there.
All right.
May I just quickly say something to that? So Rochelle is one of our pitch finalists, right? And so she would have pitched her business here last night. And our business is Ashes to Ashes Memorial Park. And when in doing our research, we would have gone to her website, and your story is there. Your story is on the website. It was very moving for me. My mother recently passed, and so it's something that I would have been interested in. However, my mother was very clear. She's like, don't burn me. So she's like, burial. So we went burial. But personally, cremation, I'm cool. Like, cremation is something that I have always said, and you heard him exclaim. However, I've always told my husband, if I go before you, just cremate me and done. Like, no matter with a bag of money, don't spend this fortune to bury me. Right? Just burn it. But I love the idea of that feeding a tree. there now being a tree as opposed to a grave that my family can come to and visit and sit, right? I don't fancy stepping over graves to go and find my mother now to go and say, spend a couple hours. I don't fancy that. But a park is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful space. I love the environment. I love the outdoors. So telling the story from that perspective would certainly help a lot more persons to understand and appreciate what it is that you're doing.
Right, and
So I have one thing to chime in. You don't have to stop overthinking. Testimonials, if you have done it before, ask people if they can just speak, because people love a good story. When you can connect with your audience, that's when you have the perfect sale. You don't need to, you understand? So just start, get the testimonials, tell your story, and it will connect.
yeah, and before we take the final question, which is online, I just want to chime in and say, being an audio-first podcaster, Jermaine, do not give me the eye. Being an audio-first podcaster, I think that would actually solve some of your issue. Let's get to the question online, please.
Yeah, podcast would be cool.
Audio first.
Yes.
As a service-based business focused on commercial clients, is it beneficial to invest in quality content creation? And if yes, how? How?
It is beneficial, but if you don't have the budget for it, you just have to start where you are. It is definitely worth the investment. I mean, I'm biased. It is definitely worth the investment. But if you can't afford it, just start where you are. Start with the phone, start with the employees, start with your family. I mean, yeah.
So, with that enthusiastic yes, quality content is also how you look at it. All of the content that we shoot is on this phone. It's an iPhone 15, right? That's as one singular investment in your business that you could probably write off, right? Right? That is something you can use to make quality content, and that would count as an investment. It's not necessarily a whole video production team of 3-4 people. It's still an investment, though, and it still can generate quality content. So it's absolutely worth the investment, because a lot of commercial businesses, they want to see that level of quality. They want to know that the business that you're selling to them, that you are invested in, that if they see quality content, they know, okay, I might be able to get quality service out of you. So it's a part of communicating what your brand does and what your brand can do.
And you can also use AI. Don't forget that. So, I mean, that can help you with generating a little concept, a little photo, just something to think about.
And quickly also, quality is subjective. You can create quality content with a phone if you know what you're doing, if you have the settings right. You can, storytelling also amplifies quality. It's not always about the best phone or the latest camera or the latest gimbal or whatever. So if you can ensure that the story is good, ensure that you're using the right angles, just little basic principles in creating content, it can go a far way. And sometimes even just taking up the phone, hitting record, no, obviously, and putting it out there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, audience, it's been my pleasure. Thank you so very much. Clap on yourself.